Happy New Year, BFFs. I am back. I've missed you oh so much. I couldn't wait to get back on and just start sharing all this goodness with you. If you're new around these parts, I am Siobhan Sudberry, the founder of Be Free Project and the host of the Girl Be Free podcast. And I am your clarity cultivator. And what I do is I teach women how to flourish, how to feel fulfilled, so ultimately they can be free. And I'm excited to be back, to be sharing these powerful messages with you day in and day out to really challenge you to show up for yourself. And so what I shared on the previous video is that I took a much needed break, and I do it every single year, sometimes for a couple of weeks, 30 days, 6 days. It just depends on what I feel that I need. And I feel refreshed. I feel recharged. I spent a lot of time reflecting and just being in the moment, spending time with loved ones, of course, which is always important. And I've been doing a lot of journaling, a lot, and not just writing, but going back and reading what I wrote and like letting my words like sit with me. And so that has been really, really, really good. And so I'm happy to be back. And you know, if you're a creator or entrepreneur, you already know, we give so much of ourselves that there are times in your life where you have to pull back. And that could be for a day, a weekend, a couple of months, whatever you decide. But I think it's really good to take a moment to just be with yourself, and kind of recharge and feel refreshed and all that. So I'm excited to be back in your feed, sharing these powerful messages, as I stated. And I want to talk about today what 2019 has taught me. And I'm going to tell you, 2019 kicked my butt in a good way. I said, last year was my year of growth and healing, and I made that, I guess, mandate, if you will, on my birthday. And I didn't know that things are going to like charge up like so quickly. So my birthday is on March 21st. And that is when I set that intention. And 7 days later, that is when everything started to shift in my life, more so emotionally, and some business stuff as well. And so the lesson that I learned is that when you put something out in the universe, be ready for what you're going to receive. Right. And so I was very intentional with that. Like, this is my year of growing and healing. And within 7 days, I had a situation that I had to confront and something that I had to unpack for the whole year. Right. So that's lesson number one. When you put something out in the universe, be ready for what you're going to receive, And also that words are very, very powerful. The second thing that I learned is that I can do hard things, whether it's in my personal life or in my business. Like, I can step out of my comfort zone and I can do hard things. And I am equipped with everything that I need to show up for myself. That was really, really a teachable moment, because sometimes I like to play it safe. And when it comes to taking risk or putting myself out there, I like to stay in my little safety spot. But that's not always good, because the growth happens when you step outside of your comfort zone. So when I created the Motherless Child Guidebook, when I postponed my retreat, there's several things that popped up, and I'm like, okay, you can do hard things. And so I love that lesson. Next is that grief can come in many different ways. And I already promised you guys I'm going to do a podcast on it. I just haven't yet, but I plan to. And when it comes to grief, sometimes people just tie grief into, death. But grief can come from losing a job, a breakup in a friendship, maybe transitioning in life and not being where you want to be or where you thought you should be. So you're grieving and there's a lot of sadness. Grief can come in many different ways, and it's not just the loss of a loved one. And so I was reminded of that this year, or last year, is that, I can grieve in many different ways and be okay with the grief. And so I've been allowing myself to feel like all of the emotions and like processing it moment by moment. All right. The next thing is that I can trust myself. I know there's been many times where I put more trust in other people than trusting myself. And so I learned probably at the end of last year, like I can trust myself even more. And so I'm bringing that same energy into 2020, is that I can trust myself. I don't need validation from other people, and that I am good enough, right? So I'm keeping that same energy for sure. Another thing that I learned is that I am freaking amazing. I am. And I have to say that because sometimes I don't give myself enough credit, or I minimize what I do because some things just come so natural to me. But I am freaking amazing because I'm out here living in my purpose, changing the trajectory of my life, empowering others, helping others change their life, being an amazing mom at the best of my ability, being a good wife, at the best of my ability, and then being open to grow, and even in my friendships, being open about how I feel, and letting people know what is going on internally. And I'm amazing. I am amazing that I'm doing this work and that I'm not letting up on it, and so I'm very, very, very grateful for that. And it was a teachable moment that I'm going to have to continue to honor, that I am freaking amazing and it's okay to accept praise from other people. And that's probably going to come up in another video because I'm not the only one that deals with that as it relates to like being confident in what you have to offer the world and not playing it small because of where other people are at. So stay tuned because I'm sure I have a lot to share on that. And then the last thing, there's many teachable moments, but this video will go on, and we don't want that, right? And I learned this from Nikki from Buy From a Black Woman. She shared this affirmation with me and I've been reciting it, is everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. And so learning that, and not just learning it because I knew it before, but like hearing it and then actually applying it and reciting it and then believing it has been transformational for me. So those are some of my teachable moments. I would love to know in the comments, what did 2019 teach you? All right, just share that right below. And then also, if you have not yet, make sure you subscribe and listen to the Girl Be Free podcast. You can catch up and listen to any episode just by subscribing to Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, you name it. And if you are loving the podcast, be sure to share it with a friend. As I mentioned, I'm so glad to be back. So every day you'll find a new video from yours truly to really help improve and give you positive vibes for the day. So until next time, have an amazing day.